Now we are going to implement the functionality so-called cron task. Cron task is some piece of code that runs automatically on a fixed schedule. Our task will run in the background. The main goal of the mentioned task will be going through all saved reminders and check if some of them should be fired and accordingly send the message to the user if needed. For this purpose, I will use a Python threading model. So let's import it. And in order to start some function as a separate thread, you should code the following lines. So let's define a separate function. For example, start check reminders task. First, we need to create a thread. In target, we should define the name of a function which should be run. So let it be check reminders. After all, we will implement it. And after that, we need to pass the arguments, but there are no arguments for our function. As a next step, we should set the daemon to true. So you should consider the daemon thread as a thread that runs in the background without worrying about shutting down. So we set it to true, and after all, we need just to start the thread. Yeah, and let's call this function in our main. And let's define the check reminders function. And now we need to code the logic of the check reminders function. First of all, let's code the logic of defining if a reminder should be fired or not, and the fire logic itself. So for this purpose, let's introduce the new property fired, which by default will be equal to false. So self fired equal to false. And as a next step, let's code the fire function. It will change the state of fire flag to true. Yeah, so it's done. And finally, let's code the should be fired function. So its first condition will check if reminder wasn't fired previously, and the second one will check if current time more or equal to the time of the reminder. So let's code it. Yeah, so the first condition, the fired flag should be false, and the second one, current time, we can retrieve it in the following way, should be more or equal to the time of reminder. Yeah, that's it. And now let's code the check reminders function. So the function will check reminders in the endless thread, so while true will be used. So let's use it. Then we need to retrieve all reminders, and I would like to remind you that the key of the reminders dictionary is a chat ID. So for chat ID in reminders, and by this chat ID we can retrieve the reminder data. So let's do it. And then let's check if a reminder should be fired, and accordingly, if it's true, then we will fire it and the message will be sent to the user. So let's do it. First, let's fire the reminder, and after that, let's send the message. So we need to retrieve the bot and call the send message function. First parameter is chat ID, and the second one is the message itself, so we can retrieve it from reminder data. Yeah, and also let's use thread sleep function, because there is no need to check reminders each moment of time. We can check them, for example, each 30 seconds. So let's define the constant. Yeah, and let's use here the time sleep function. Yeah, so we need to also import the time model. Yeah, and here let's add it. And of course, let's check how it works. So let's start the bot and create the reminder. Yeah, so it started. Let's start it in the Telegram. Add a reminder. Let's put some test message and enter the time of reminder. So let it be something like this. And now let's wait a bit. As you remember, the interval equals to 30 seconds. And great, as you can see, the reminder was successfully fired and the message was sent to us. So later on, we will connect our bot to the Postgres database and rework the bot to work with it.